Ladies and gentlemen, robots, boys and girls, we're back. So I'm Don. This is Mike. Uh, he's in the space. I'm a deep thinker. If you haven't seen these videos, you'll have to just watch a few more. But we had to start talking about AI. And while I trade for a living, I had to stop not stop the YouTube channel, almost put it on hold because people just aren't waking up. I needed some people in the space, so we're bringing on Mike. Mike has shared a an article, right? Give us a quick little 2 seconds of this article before we dive into it. What are you thinking?
Uh, Job losses. Well, not necessarily job losses. People are not hiring for jobs that would have been hired for due to AI. That's the gist.
Okay. So everything we've talked about up to this right now is AI is going to take over your jobs. But this is, and I've been calling AI a Trojan horse, and we are just going to welcome this thing in with open arms because people just aren't thinking about things. And they're going to love it. We're obsessive as a species. We're just going to more and more and more and more and more. We're just too greedy. So we're going to bring this stuff in, and hopefully everyone knows the story of the Trojan horse because this should make perfect sense to you. And everyone's going to. There are some people right now. If you've seen the movie Troy, you know he's like, "What should we do?" Well, I think we should burn it. Like, yeah, that would have solved everything. We shut it down right now. Well, but we're not. It's not going to be a thing ever. So what do you say? You want to just get into it? Any thoughts before we kick this thing off, or
No, let's get in it and actually talk about the article.
okay? So Tyler Perry headlines is he's no longer going to need to be cross dressing for his videos. AI is going to do it for him. He should be happy about that. Okay, headlines. Tyler Perry puts $800 million studio expansion on hold after seeing OpenAI's Sora. Jobs are going to be lost.
His words. Jobs
Yeah.
are going to be lost.
What he meant to say is, I don't have to hire any of you mother. Because I'm not going to now. I'm going to read this first line and then you break down the article for us because I feel like I could probably almost make a video just off this first paragraph. It says the actor, filmmaker, and studio owner is raising the alarm about the impact of tech, saying, I feel like everybody in this industry is running 100 miles an hour to try and catch up, to try to put in guardrails. This alone right now, if you want to talk about tech, this, and let's take the distraction off. Let's zoom in here real quick. This would be like playing a whole game of bowling and then putting up the bumpers after in hopes it would have an effect on your score. That's about the speed and rate at which we're trying to put in guardrails. Okay. Maybe not even one game, maybe 2 games. Imagine you went bowling, you played 20 turns. Maybe you bowled a spare at the end, 22 turns. Okay. And then you're like, you know what I should do? Put in the bumper, see if my score goes up. The game's over with. The party's over. Everybody's going. They've already turned in their rental shoes, and you're over here still thinking you're going to affect anything. How far off is that statement, you think, Mike?
Not far off at all. We're full steam ahead, and the guardrails are not even an afterthought at this point.
Yeah. Like, it's not even a bad taste in anyone's mouth. Like, it is just nothing. First of all, before we get into this, why are we not talking about guardrails? Is it just because the government's just slower than dirt?
I don't think people in government actually, if they're either being willfully ignorant into knowing how much this is going to affect people, or they don't know at all. Basically, either they know and they don't care because it's something they can just because they're usually not really principled. They're not principled to begin with, right?
Yeah.
Or they really just don't know. So it's one of the two.
And some food for thought. How much of this do you think they just don't know because they just don't need to know? And I say this because over the weekend while I was traveling, I was talking to some other people that use AI for a living. And, I brought up Sora. I was like, oh, obviously, what did you think about that? So they use AI at their job. It's a married couple. Both of them use AI, ChatGPT, different variations of large language models, different other AI platforms. Neither one of them had heard of Sora or any of the advancements. And it was just kind of an eye opener in general about how much you could even be in this space and not know what's right around the corner. And if you're not like looking in every crevice, flipping over every rock, there is so much going on right now that you just have no idea.
Yeah.
So not to even, I would say there's very much if I'm in Congress, do I really like? I'm just still now. I'm trying to just now figure out what a Bitcoin is. Like
Yeah. I
how much
mean,
am I
I,
missing?
I sorry, I would say if there might be some agencies within the government who actually know what's going on.
Mhm.
True lawmakers, congressmen, senators, the executive branch, judicial branch, not any one of them, I would say, truly know what's going on. But maybe some agencies within the government actually do.
What do you think they're doing? Get their pockets lined right now. What's your tinfoil hat on this one?
I'm not going to comment on that, but I mean, really, I sent you this article because it's highlighting that we're basically not just talking out of our ass.
Yeah. Not only are we, because we've been talking about like what we think's coming. We've talked a lot about this TLDR, the transition period. I personally think on the other end, when AI is adopted, we're good. I do think there's going to be the rich versus the poor for a little bit, but you just need to not be a complete 100% POS to have an abundance of everything and help out someone. I don't want to say lesser, but just not in the same situation you were, because when the middle class goes away, there'll be a divide, rich or poor. And why can't my Tesla bot fold your laundry while I'm out playing pickleball or whatever while I'm out golfing, but that transition period is where I sound like Chicken Little, because I'm just like yelling at everybody like, hey, this is going to get weird. This is going to get bad. I mean, we saw they announced Sora. They even they gave out the little clips everyone's seeing and talk about. And they specifically said, we release this so the public can get a heads up as to what's coming.
Yeah.
Like we have it. We're ready to give it to you guys. But we want to like ease this thing in. We want to start with just the tip before we just ram this thing into you. And the first thing they did was get death threats, saying it needs to be illegal. It needs to be shut down. We're going to smoke somebody at the headquarters. Like it got bad. And that was there's 10 minutes worth of AI clips.
Yeah.
And this guy, so that 10 minutes worth of AI clips is what led into to Tyler Perry to bring it back full circle. This is an $800 million studio expansion.
Right.
So, and like you were saying, what teams was he going to hire that is no longer going to be hired?
Yeah. I mean, let's break it down a little bit. So by putting this on hold, there's no construction going to happen. So there's no construction workers going to get hired. Their film crews are basically not going to get hired, because in the article he talks about how he no longer has to travel anywhere. He can just type in a scene, like say Chicago in winter or Colorado in winter. There's no need to actually go on location and bring a crew with you. You can do all of that in Sora or a Sora-like application.
Yeah, and what the first thing I said to you off screen was, that's adorable to even think that that's all it's going to be. With some
Right.
B-roll. What is he going to record on a green screen and have Sora do the background? No, he's just going to type the whole thing.
Yeah.
He's going to say like, hey, picture me with some shoulder pads with a wig on, dressed up as a woman, and now it's Medea. Is it Medea? Yeah. Now AI can do it all. And Medea never ages. There could be Medea does everything. There could be 900 more Medea movies in a week. It could cover everything.
And I don't know what he was thinking, right? I mean, this is all based on this article. But here's the way I would look at this. If I was in his shoes, knowing that a construction site or expansion of a building or whatever, it's going to take a couple of years.
Mm-hmm.
In the 2 years that it would take to actually construct that, imagine what the technology goes through between now and then. So I would think what he was thinking is, in 2 years, why bother building a building when I'll be able to do the whole movie from typing it out?
Yeah. And
without actually ever being in a studio.
Yeah. Or having proper grammar, or even spelling the words right. I mean, I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing, but just imagine you just suck at life and you could still just jump up there and essentially would have been able to, let's say he went through with this $800 million later, he's added, and I had it highlighted before I actually brought it down. I can bring it back up. Added 12 sound stages on a 330 acre property. Let's say he spent all this. I had a hard time passing any English class. So, like, I'm a numbers guy, so English sucked for me. I could have come in here not being a prompt engineer, bad at grammar, and just replaced his 800 million with a couple of keystrokes, and if something messes up, like, oh, hang on, make sure, Medea doesn't have 3 arms. And then it goes back and does it, unless it's completely advanced. We're not even worried about the radioactive limbs growing on AI images anymore, like.
Yeah, it's the technology is going to get it's the worst it's ever going to be today.
Right,
it's only going to get better. And the token sizes that they're actually throwing numbers out there now for the context. So basically, the context, a million tokens, 5 million tokens, which is well over what it would take to produce a full length movie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's getting ridiculous. But even here, I feel like this should resonate with a lot of people. He says being told that it can do all of these things is one thing, but actually seeing the capabilities, it was mind blowing.
Right.
And that's what brings up the guardrail references, because it takes a little bit of imagination and a little bit of just, foresight to just see this coming, like, hey, what is this capable of? Like, you don't need to have an imagination of a 5-year-old kid. You just need to think past the tip of your nose.
Right.
Like, you don't need to be brilliant. But people they're just not. And I think by the time, so he had this aha moment, but he's spending $800 million. This is the thing we were having offline. The conversation we were having offline is, if you're spending $800 million, you want to dot your I's, cross your T's, mind your P's and Q's. You want to check things out. So that forced him to kind of come into this.
Right.
But what about the people who aren't spending $800 million? They make 80 grand a year. They have no idea. They're not putting themselves in the same realm, but their 80 grand might as well be this guy's 800 million. It's going away.
Yeah.
But they're cheering this on because, look how awesome it is. They finally get this, seeing its capabilities is going to be the week before they get the pink slip in their box. If they still even do that, how do they fire people these days?
Yeah.
Just tell you, like
email.
Yeah.
Text
real quick. Hey, don't bother coming in tomorrow. I mean, personally, I wouldn't mind waking up to that. He's like, sweet.
Well, this gets back to a comment we made, I don't know, in one of our other videos, where you're going to start seeing billion-dollar companies that are a one-man operation, because you just don't need the people to do it anymore.
Yeah. What's funny is that's exactly what I said, I talked to some other people that use AI for a living. And, and he said, upper management's fine, but that's probably going to be it. And I was like, Amazon's going to be ran by 4 people.
Right.
That's going to be it. The companies that are here, they're going to be kind of just here to say, they're almost like etched in stone. They're basically a fossil that will just live on. But everybody down below, from the top of that totem pole down, is just going to be a memory replaced by some software or robot, and that will be it. So we'll see these, the NASDAQ 100 will be the NASDAQ 5, and that'll be it. But they'll have all the market share. They'll have everything. There'll be 3 people, at the whole company.
It's going to be winner take all.
Yeah, it for sure is.
I know Kathy Wood talks about winner take most. I really think it's going to be winner take all. Whoever's in the pole position really has an advantage.
Yeah, I think it'll be both. Winner will take most, but then they'll just gobble up the rest. They just get absorbed into everything else. So eventually it is a winner take all.
Yeah.
Because we'd love to bicker and fight about that company's a monopoly, but get out of here. When has Amazon not been a monopoly? Like they've been that way for a while. It's just more of a formality at this point. But it all becomes that. And that the tidal wave of what's coming, again, not to fearmonger or sound like AI, but what do I just need to come out and tell you guys? Light your hair on fire and figure this out. Like, what should I be saying to ring that bell, raise the alarms? What is it? So it says, after seeing Sora, what are your current feelings about how fast AI technology is moving and how it might affect entertainment in the near term? Why don't you go ahead and answer that?
Me?
Yeah. And then actually, I want everybody in the comments down below to answer that question. I'm gonna ask it again, just so in case anybody was falling asleep over here. No, not you. I'm saying like anybody. I want everybody to answer this question down below, and there'll be a giveaway off this question. After seeing Sora, what are your current feelings about how fast AI technology is moving and how it might affect entertainment in the near term?
So for me, it didn't even take Sora. I knew what was coming. Sora was just the next step. So it really wasn't a surprise for me. It was more of okay, it's a checkbox.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, that was kind of my thought. Like, okay, finally someone woke up and realized where this is going, because you and I have realized where this is going for a while now.
Right. Yeah, and that's where that's got to be where I'm at. Like, to even think, I think to even ask this question is borderline silly. But a lot of people are. This did wake up a good chunk. I will give it that. A lot of people probably did see this and wake up and think, hey, maybe something is up. If you read any of the comments to any of these reactions, it's absolutely hilarious. We'll get to that in a second, but my answer is the same thing. Like Sora, like that was your eye opener. Like this we've been here. This is not a surprise.
Yeah. I mean, we've been generating 5-10 second clip videos for a little while. This one just upped its game, and it's way more realistic, right? But that just comes down to really compute power and the models learning better, which, like we said, they are learning every day. Is it something new that was opening up my eyes? No. Again, it's just the next step, and the next step after this is the agents, the large the
action models,
the agents that can actually start doing something. When that happens, that's when I'm going to start really freaking out.
Yeah. Okay, so how might it affect entertainment in the near term?
In the near term,
yeah,
I think we're okay for another year.
A year?
I think maybe a year. but here's something I do think that's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Actors are no longer going to be required to be on set. What they're going to do is license their voices and images, and basically be a computer model that can be used for any movie going forward at that point.
Why though? Good luck. I mean, as an actor, I think you should.
And that's step one, because they'll think that will save them.
Yeah.
And then right after that, there's not going to be a need for actors at all, because you can just build the model or an actor or whatever with AI. Which there's that influencer in Spain it's a complete AI influencer. It's not a real person, but they make $10,000 a day.
Yeah. Yeah. So I kind of have a little bit on this one to how it might affect entertainment in the near term. I guess that was the more important question.
Yeah.
And I've said this on multiple videos. If Hollywood was a publicly traded company, I would whole account short that thing. It would be a 100% play. I would buy puts every strike. I would buy all of them. I would be an absolute market maker as far as shorting this thing goes. And I would go as near term as 6 months out.
6 months. Okay.
Yeah. Because it's only going to get better. And the second they release this to the public, that's only going to help them, because we're just going to get the feedback of what it does well and what doesn't. You have a team and you're trying to figure out where the bugs are at, but then you release it to the public. The only thing you didn't release it to the public. You expanded your team. That's all you did by billions of people. And then they're going to pick it out real quick. Just like Google's with they're not going to make white people images, like. Now Google had to stop their image making because of that, but look how fast they found out. We're going to find out bugs like that real quick, and it's going to just get fixed. It's going to be like a Tesla with an over the air fix. So, and to get to the actor part, I mean, yeah, if you're Brad Pitt, license it, but also who cares? Right. I'd say my generation and older, we know who Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie are, and we would automatically think like, oh, they should. But all the younger kids they haven't grown. There hasn't been. I'm trying to think of an actor now that's been. everyone gets their 15 minutes of fame, but then there were things like Arnold Schwarzenegger, Sylvester Stallone, Brad Pitt, Angelina Jolie,
Yeah,
the ones that just went past their 15 minutes.
Tom Hanks, those
Yeah.
types.
Yeah, there hasn't been like anybody that around. So the people younger than me, who cares if it's Brad Pitt's voice, you know? And on the Sora video, the black kid reading the book in the clouds, and then the guy even said to me that I was talking to this weekend was like, humans can only look like so many variations. So he goes, that while that being an AI image could actually still be somebody or very close,
Right.
and that's going to be the fine line in court where that's not Brad Pitt. I'm going to go in there and say it's not Brad Pitt, and there is going to be an eyebrow hair off. It's going to be a 98%. It's going to be like a fingerprint match where it misses by like 2 points out of 100. And I'm like, yeah, good luck suing me, because it's going to be AI generated, and that's going to be it. And then I've captured both audiences, both the younger and older.
So when it comes to that question, what's the short term? I think we're gonna get a ton of content, and the 90% of it's gonna be garbage, right?
Yeah, it's gonna be like when YouTube came out.
Yeah, and then there'll be some good stuff, because what it does, it levels the playing field. You no longer have to be a production house to make a movie. If you have a good story, you'll be able to get it out on the screen very quickly, all by yourself, which will be cool.
Mm-hmm.
Like you said, the Paramounts and the Fox and all the big movie houses, those are going to struggle,
right?
Because even though they could get rid of people, production wise,
what's going to keep them engaged?
If you're a young writer, why would you even try to shop your script around? You would just do it. You just make your own movie.
Exactly. Yeah, there would be no reason to do anything else. Again, why would you?
So here's something I want to. Where do those people go to list their movies? Do they go something like a Spotify
or YouTube? Yeah,
or a YouTube.
Yeah, because you'd want to go to YouTube, or if it was, you would probably want to do YouTube and then TikTok. So YouTube would be your full length. TikTok, because you'd want to take it. It would just come down to media and marketing at this point, because you would let the algorithms do their work. The algorithms they've created are to feed addiction and to keep people in. So you could have the full content on YouTube. You can run just little hot clips everywhere else and draw people into that.
So so YouTube would be this. Actually, you're right. YouTube would be the thing. If you're a creator, you just throw it up on YouTube, and you could have like a weekly series.
Yeah, if you wanted to take 6 days off. I mean, how hard would it be to make this thing? You would literally ask ChatGPT to write, because ChatGPT has a memory now.
Yeah.
So it could remember. You could be working on. Do you even need seasons anymore? Because I was going to say you could do season 1 through 100. But why not just episode 1 through 1000? Because you could just keep it essentially just rolling, and then just keep it going. ChatGPT, write the next episode, and then go into Sora. Hey, make this a video. Upload. I have 2 gig download and upload. So to upload an hour video for me in 4K, it would take a couple minutes, like 2. I got a solid hour to working on the script, another hour in Sora because I fell asleep at my desk. So I'm 3 hours into this thing, and that does include a couple of union breaks, falling asleep at my desk, and I still have a full episode out that people are engaged in.
Yeah, so I hadn't really thought. I mean, we've thought about how it's going to affect jobs and stuff, but I hadn't thought about how this actually affects, like, say, this industry, the entertainment industry. So I'm glad we actually had this conversation.
Yeah, well, because you don't watch my videos, I'm a little upset. No, just kidding. In the stock videos, and I've said this before, for anybody that watches my channel for stocks, I just told you guys I would short Hollywood, but I think the entertainment industry is going to blow up. I think sports and entertainment is going to be huge. 1, we'll probably have new sports, but 2, we're going to have so many more creators out there that, because there's a lot of, so being on YouTube, I know how hard it is to have your idea portrayed in a video. I have ideas I think would be great. By the time I spit them out and come out to a computer, it's like, I've ADD'd it off. I went off the script a little bit a few times, all the time. But if I could just stay focused for 90 seconds, I get the whole video out there. I think it's going to be great. And YouTube's getting new stuff plugged in every second. So I think the cream will rise to the top. They'll get noticed. The algos will do their job. People love to hate the algorithms just because their content sucks and they just can't agree with it. But if it's any good and you can learn from that and look at the analytics, you'll make good content. It'll come to the top. The algos do their work. You're helping them and they're helping you. It would be a scratch each other's back scenario with Google. You get a 1099 at the end of the year.
Interesting.
Right.
So we're not crazy because I can see this is happening now. That's what I wanted. That's what I reached out for you for, because this is happening now.
Good.
But it turned into a good conversation though.
Yeah, a tidal wave. Tidal wave is what's coming. It's a Trojan horse surfing on a tidal wave. And I know the thumbnail is a Trojan horse, but I kind of wish we had a Trojan horse surfing on an absolute 10-mile high tidal wave. Because if I were to put this into an image, aside from my bowling analogy, that would be the AI wave that's coming in. I mean, coming in hot. And
I'll hook you with a thumbnail after this.
Okay, if it looks good, that might. So I guess they're watching. They already know this then, but but I guess this is gonna be one of our shorter videos because usually they're an hour. We're about to wrap this thing up, but we've covered some good points. But I guess at what point? I've asked the audience a question already. Here's one more for those that made it to the end. Do we need to be a little more excited about this, a little bit more amped? I mean, the more we get into, the more videos I create, the more I'm about to go outside and stand on the corner with my little cardboard box. You know, the end is near. Pack up, get ready, canned goods. You know, like I'm this close to having a compound. Well, not a compound, a bunker. I'm gonna have a compound regardless. Everyone that watches me is invited. Until the channel blows up, then it's going to be limited. If you were here before 20,000 subscribers, you're invited to the compound. Sorry for everyone else. Well, supplies are limited, you know. I got to be careful who I invite. But what do you think? Then I'll ask you that last question. We ask the audience anyway. What's that?
So we need good skilled people anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't do everything. Well, I can. Don't get me wrong. I can do everything. But I wouldn't mind having a helping hand at the compound. I just can't admit that I can't do something. Okay, so what do you think? I'm going to ask you that question that I just asked everyone else to answer. Should we be yelling with a megaphone? Do we just keep the same pace? Or
I think we're doing what we can. I think we're laying it out. You know, we have a video once a week. Maybe we'll step it up to 2 or 3 a week. I don't know.
Yeah.
But there is that fine line where you just sound like a wacko and everyone like just gets sick of it versus, you know, you're really trying to put some information out there. So I think we're doing okay.
I have crossed that line like playing hopscotch, I think with a few people. They're probably just kind of like, only because I care. But also, you're not invited to the compound. If I told you about this, I am like Rocco's Basilisk. If I told you about this and you said no, you're not invited. You're not invited to my compound. You can sit outside.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'll wrap it up here. I want to hear everyone's comments down below. Again, how might this affect the entertainment industry near term? And then the more you watch these videos, are you I don't want to say freaking out, but are you figuring it out? You putting the puzzle pieces together? You connecting the dots? Let me know. Let me know in the comments down below. And anyway, we'll wrap it up here. We're going to amp it up. We're going to start doing more than one video a week for sure.
Yeah.
Any final thoughts?
Come join the Discord. It's a news aggregator for all stuff AI.
Yeah, and for the last video, it was my old Discord in there. If you do go to my old Discord, there is a link to the new one. So as long as you find a Discord with me in it, you're going to find a way to this one. So shout out to everybody that joined the old Discord. You guys, it didn't go unnoticed. All right. We'll wrap it up. We'll see you guys in the next one. Have a good one.
All right. Bye.